Lesson 9, Properties of Parallel Lines. Now guys, let's go and look at example 1. Let's start writing here example 1. Yes, example 1 in this particular calculation. Right, first things that I like doing will be as follows. Because we are saying it's parallel lines, I like to put in my mind. In my mind, I do see the two parallel lines. That's what I see. The two parallel lines. And I just like to take my pencil or in my mind and I put them in. Plus the transversal line. Plus the transversal line. Now you can physically see the two parallel lines and the transversal line. And now it suddenly become quite clear that the x angle will be an alternating to the x. Can you see once again? I was playing on the sketch. I learned to know my sketch, and now I got my answer in this process. Now I just got to write everything down. So let's start. Statement and reason. So I'm going to start saying now that x, I make a statement now where I'm going to say that x must be equal to 40 degrees. And why can I say that? First of all, my reason is because they are alternating. Alternating angles. But why are they alternating angles? Because AB, line AB, is parallel. You can see the symbol for parallel lines to which line? To line CD. Guys, there I have my answer. Now it become quite easy, especially if I can physically see or in my mind the two parallel lines, the transversal line, and then it looks like it just come forward the answer, and there you got example number 1. Let's try another one. Example number 2. Example number 2. What is the first thing I need to do? Oh, I do see, yes, there I have two parallel lines in my mind. Quickly again, I just going to show my two parallel lines. There is the one. Here I going to have the other parallel line. And then I do see my transversal line. That's if I'm looking at that sketch. That is what I do see in this calculation. Further than that, now I do realize that this angle and this angle here must be vertical or direct opposite angles. So x must be then a value also to be 50 degrees because it's vertical opposite. Then if I'm looking at angle x and y, I do see that these two again must be alternating angles. So this y angle also got to be a value of 50 degrees. Once again, guys, you have note I was taking my pencil and I just have fun playing on the calculation. Now I have to answer every part of that calculation. So I'm going to start here again by saying statement and reason. First of all, I'm going to make the statement where I'm going to say x equal to be 50 degrees. And my reason again, vertical opposite. Vertical opposite angles. And there I have that reason for that one down there, vertical opposite. Now I'm going to make in my next statement where I'm going to say now that y must be equal to x must be then equal to be a value of 50 degrees. And the reason again, alternating angles. And again, why are they alternating angles? Because of that parallel lines, namely AE, line AE, the symbol for parallel. Parallel to which line? Parallel to line BD. And there in this process, I have once again determined X and Y, and everything again have started by making use of my pencil, discovering my two parallel and my align both of them down there. Example 3. Right, by now you understand the rule. The first thing that I try to look for, see if I can find it, the two parallel lines. There are the symbols. Don't forget, the symbol for the two parallel lines or the line is that arrow. So here I'm gonna, in my mind, I just like to sketch quickly. I'm taking my pencil, and for myself, I'm just indicating the two parallel lines. There they are. Then also I'm looking for the transversal line, and there is the transversal line. Now I see that in the triangle, I do know that the sum of the triangle must be equal to be 180 degrees. So 50 plus 70 is going to give me 120. That leaves me something like that one there to be 60 in that calculation down there. And then I do see that again the two parallel lines, that x and y going to be the same. So that one then down there must be then equal to be 60 degrees of the alternating angle. So I'm going to start again. So I had fun on the sketch. I understand my sketch. Now I can answer it nicely. Statement. Reason. I'm going to start by the triangle, where I'm going to make the statement that angle C, perhaps I would like to call that one just angle 1, because I see that I have two angles down there. So I'm going to have angle B1 plus angle C plus angle D must be equal to be 180 degrees. The sum of the angles interior of a triangle equal to be 180 degrees. Now I'm going to do some substitution. That angle B1 to be 50 degrees plus the angle C, the one I would like to determine, x, plus the 70 for angle D equals to be 180 degrees. On the left, I'm going to be left with 120 degrees plus the x equal to be 180. It's a plus 120 on the left, therefore minus 120 left. What I do left, I must do right. So I'm going to be left with x, going to leave me with an answer of 180 minus 120 degrees. Don't forget the symbol for degrees. So therefore x going to leave me then with the answer of 60 degrees. I do have my first x. Now I'm going to say and y must be equal to x, and then it must be then equal to 60 degrees. Why? The reason, because they are alternating angles. Why are they alternating angles? Because of the two parallel lines, namely line AB is parallel to CD. Guys, and once again, everything I've started by identify my two parallel lines. Let's try one more. Example 4. Right, again I'm going to take my pencil quickly and I'm just going to find my two parallel lines and my transversal line. So in my mind I do see there I have a parallel line. There is his friend. Because remember the definition of a parallel line, two lines, same distance apart, two or more lines. The transversal line must bisect two or more lines. Right, and there I have, or intersect two or more lines. Right, there I have my sketch that I do see the properties of two or a parallel line. Now I'm looking. Oh, I see here that those two ones are supplementary angles. Two adjacent angles on a straight line to be equal to 180. That means if the straight line supplementary is 180, if I subtract 70, it means that x must be then 110 degrees. And if I look at the x versus the y, those two got to be then corresponding angles, so therefore y must be equal to 110. Look how easy my calculation have become. So let's start answering it now. Statement. Reason. So I've started by saying, I've said that x plus 70 degrees equal to be 180 degrees supplementary angles, two adjacent sides on a straight line. Therefore, I'm going to have that x must be then 180 degrees minus the 70 degrees. So therefore, x going to leave me with the answer of 110 degrees. Now, if I go for the y, therefore I can say now that y must be equal to x must then be equal to be 110 degrees. This time corresponding angles, sorry, just the one, two R's, corresponding angles. And why are they corresponding angles in this case? Because of the two parallel lines, namely AB, line AB, parallel to CD. Guys, once again, my calculation have become quite straightforward and easy by the simple rule. First, take a pencil and have fun on the sketch. Example 5. Let's see if I take my pencil what I can see in this calculation. I think this one is much more clear. If I just quickly just highlight my two parallel lines. Again, how do I know they are parallel? Because of the two arrows and my transversal line. And then you can see that that angle plus that angle and the two of them together must be equal to 180 degrees for co-interior. Now that I have discovered my answers, I must just put it in writing. So I'm going to start statement and reason. I'm going to start by labeling the values of those two angles, namely 2x plus 10 degrees plus for co-interior the sum of the two angles. The other angle to be 3x plus 20 degrees equal to be for co-interior 180. So I'm going to say the reason co-interior angles, and they must be equal to be 180 degrees. Why can I say co-interior? Don't forget, because line AB parallel to line CD. Now that I have that, I can say likewise terms. 2x plus the 3x going to leave me then with 5x. 10 plus 20 going to leave me with 30 degrees equal to be 180 degrees. On the left, minus 30. What I do left, I must do right. So I'm going to have 5x equals to be 180 degrees minus 30 degrees. Therefore, 5x going to be equal to be 150 degrees. Then I'm going to grab my pencil quickly where I know divide on the left with a 5. And what I do left, I must do right. So my answer going to be x to be equal to b, and in this case 150 divide by 5 going to leave me a value of 30 degrees, and there I have determined the value of x. Now it's your chance to see if you can see the parallel lines every time. So let's call it homework. I will really like you to try for me in your class books, please. Draw the sketches every time for me as it is, and then go into the table statement reason. First, I would like to remind you, take your pencil, first play on the sketch, then determine the answers first on the sketch before you go and you write everything nicely down in the tables. Guys, have fun, enjoy, till I come back to you again with the answers. Remember, the whole idea, have fun. Thank you very much.